This could go wrong. Walking in the rain and the clouds. Anyway, my question to you, my friend, is this. If you didn't have to work, if you were able to support yourself and you had limitless supply of money, what would you do with your time? Now the reason I ask is because our son Hamish is having a bit of trouble, and I thought I would put that question to him to help him figure out what he wants to do with his life. He's 15, he doesn't know, but it's something to ponder. It might help give him direction. So as I walked up the hill today, walked to the end of the path, just there, which is 3.5 kilometres. So I've got to go back 3.5 kilometres as well. That's how space works. So I was pondering it as I walked up the hill, and I was also listening to Pink Floyd. Delicate Sound of Thunder, no less. Turns out it was remastered in 2019. I didn't know. I listened to Momentary Lapse of Reason this morning, which actually had me tearing up. The remaster of that, bloody hell. The drums on Dogs of War. Oof. So I was like, I'm going to go out today, I'm going to walk up the hill, because it's become a habit. And then when I got to the top of the hill, because I was listening to Delicate Sound of Thunder, which was also making me tear up, particularly the saxophone solo in Terminal Frost. And that got me thinking, what would I do? Well, I know what I would do. I'm a musician. I had my first piano lesson this morning with a local teacher who was my son's teacher, and then he quit. And that's me reaching the age of 50, reaching a little bit of freedom. And I'm not financially independent by any stretch of the imagination, but I set myself a goal this year of learning piano because I've always wanted to. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do it. And so I bought a book. I started going through the book, and I think I did 2 practice sessions, and then it's been a month since I sat down at the keyboard. So when my son's ex-piano teacher came round to the house to drop off some books, music books, I chinned her on the doorstep and found the courage to ask her, do you teach adults? And she said, yeah, fire round. So we set up a lesson there and then on the doorstep. And I went round this morning, and it was really good. It's something I really want to do more of. And as I'm listening to David Gilmour wailing on his guitar, I'm thinking, that's what I am. I'm a musician. That's what I would be doing with my time. And I was thinking about how my ego gets in the way of that. Now, I had an interesting conversation yesterday with a local girl, friend of mine called Ilana, who runs Crofters Music Bar, or Crofters Arran it's called now. And I've played in there hundreds of times, literally. That's not hyperbole, actually hundreds. And every time, I've talked about this at length on my channel, so you might have seen me talk about this, about the anxiety that I suffer with whenever I get booked for a gig. And yesterday we were having a chat on Messenger, and she was very kind and gracious, and she said, would you like me to book you but not tell you? Not tell you till like the day before, so that I only have a day of anxiety. I said, yeah, that's very kind. I love how you're thinking of me that way. Thank you. But no, I'm going to pull up my big boy pants, and I'm going to be brave and do the thing. So that's what I was thinking about. And as I was listening to Delicate Sound of Thunder and thinking, that would be like a dream come true for me. What could be better, right? If you can get rid of your ego, you just boot it out the window, you could tell it, and be able to channel the source, to be able to plug into that with a clean connection, not a drunken or drug-infused connection, but a clean one, and channel that goodness and express yourself through the language of music. And not only that, imagine if you could do that with other people who were also connected in a similar way. And then imagine if you did that and played in a stadium filled with people who had paid money to come and listen to music that you had written. You know? And that connection to source, that's what I'm working on right now. That's why I enjoyed The Power of Now so much last year. That's why I enjoyed Sam Harris's book, Waking Up. That's why I enjoyed so much the book I just finished a couple of days ago by Lisa Miller called The Awakened Brain. So this is about my trying to find a way to connect more readily, to remove my ego from the picture, the ego that fears judgment of others, the ego that wants me to be part of this faction or that faction because the other ones are, you know. So yeah, here's an interesting topic on that theme, which ties into the discussion I had with Alice on the doorstep, the piano teacher. She talked about the Ceilidh band that they now play with because we want to book them, which is kind of ironic because they took our name, the Aaron Ceilidh band, but they now play Ceilidhs and we want to book them for our daughter's 18th. And we got talking about accompaniment. They have a keyboard player right now, a friend of my daughter's actually, a contemporary of hers, a school friend. And we got talking about how I used to play accompaniment. She was asking me what it was like, you know, playing accompaniment on guitar. And she said, you could fill in sometimes, couldn't you? And I said, well, and then we got into the story of how our Ceilidh band split up and about how I had a bunch of PA equipment that because I did the sound. And my wife was like, yeah, you still got a bunch of sound gear in the, you know, nodding her head towards the spare room. And I was like, no, I sold all of that. It's like, you know, I don't want to be doing sound on stage for other bands. But what I'm leading to here is that, you know, I was having a laugh with my wife about it afterwards. I was saying, what are you doing telling her I've got PA equipment? You know, I don't want to do sound. And she's like, well, you know, maybe... She said, if I had a talent like yours and I could do something helpful, I would do it. And we got talking and I was like, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what these 3 books I've mentioned talk about being able to help others through service, through just kindness. And that's the person I want to be. So... yeah, I mean, maybe I would do it. Maybe I would... I mean, this is the thing. When I get booked to play a gig and the anxiety kicks in, it lasts up until about an hour before I'm leaving the house. And then it starts to become excitement. And when I'm playing, I'm right there in the moment. I think the clouds lifted a bit, actually. I could probably take my hood down. Hang on. Will it rustle the microphone? It'll move the microphone, that's for sure. Right, this audio might not be usable anyway. So I'll keep my hood up, keep it the same. So, yeah, I'm right there in the present when I get booked to play. I'm standing on stage. And it's intense. It's like, you know, the moment seems to be over in a flick of the eyes. Can you flick your eyes? It seems to be over in a blink of the eyes. And the last time I played with Donald, my pal. He was on fiddle and guitar. I've been playing with Donald for years. He was in the Ceilidh band and the bluegrass band. And always when I was playing with Donald, that ego, that fear was always kind of in the background. I was always worried about messing up and what he would think if I did. And, you know, I know it's all on me. This has nothing to do with him. And the other time we played, last time we played in January this year, it was our first time playing together for ages. And I don't know, I felt more fearless. I felt more connected. And there was a moment where he was playing one of his songs and he asked me if I had a solo for it. And I was like, I don't know, let's see. And it turns out I did. That's the musician I want to be, that's the creator I want to be. That's the connection I want to have. It's the first time that has ever happened. Normally I would have been like, no, no. And look at my feet, ashamedly, bashfully. So that was a moment actually, for me as a musician, for me as a human. And that's what I want more of in my life. So if I didn't have to work and I were able to afford to support my family, then I would play music every day. I would practice guitar every day. I would play piano every day. I would maybe form a band, buy a space for us to rehearse, pay the band so that they didn't have to work either, and have us book time together to write. Eventually with a view to playing for people for free, because I think that would make me very, very happy. What about you? What would you do? Let me know in the comments. Cheers.